All right, guys, this could be the most anticipated bike yet here at AOMC. I've got it, the Stark Varg pre-production. Let's go check it out. Okay, guys, here it is, the pre-production Stark Varg electric dirt bike. If you guys have watched my channel watched my TikTok, anything like that, you know that I am a huge electric bike proponent, and I've been super excited about this bike. I got to ride the Altas a little bit, in 2018, and absolutely fell in love with e-Power and have a lot of thoughts and goals as to what e-Power can do for our sport as far as ease of access, riding areas, all this stuff. So naturally, I've been super excited about this Stark Varg ever since we heard about it. Was it last year now? The big bummer is that it's been delayed. I think anyone that understands what's going on in the macro economy and in the world right now between wars and diseases and stuff like that understands that these delays are going to happen. Yes, the Stark's been delayed quite a while, but I like to remind people that, the SX E5 electric bike that I got from my boy, KTM, has had that bike in its same form for 3 or 4 years, and even it was delayed by about 6 months for KTM this year. So everybody's having issues getting, batteries and parts sourced. So when you're building a brand new bike from the ground up, you're going to have even more problems and hurdles to get over. Now, there are tons of videos on YouTube, and there will be way more presentations by Stark, I'm sure, telling you about the bike, the features, the specs, things like that. So I'm not going to be going over that stuff in this video. This video, I just want to tell you what my first thoughts are from looking at the bike. So first of all, our Stark rep brought this by because AOMC did get hooked up with Stark as a dealer, and this is a pre-production model. So the fit and finish, while amazing on this bike, may not be exactly the same on the production model, but I'm telling you, if it's anything close, this thing's pretty amazing. The tight fit, the creases, the way everything came together was even better than I expected, and the videos made it look pretty good. This bike just felt really well made, just felt handmade, because I'm sure it was. Another thing to keep in mind is this had a dummy battery in it, so didn't even have the cells in the battery, so the bike felt really light. Couldn't really get a feel of how the production model would be weight-wise, but we did get a close look at so many other cool features that have me super excited for this motorcycle. Some things that immediately stuck out to me, like I already mentioned, the fit and finish, how tight all the fit was, but the coatings, all the coatings looked really good. Nothing looked cheap. The split triple clamps, I thought it was a very cool thing. Reminds you of the X-Trigs or the KTM Power Parts or something like that. Should give you a lot of flex. Just looking at the bike, it just looks clean and classy. You got the signatures, you've got the gold logo, whatever this like reflective flake is in the black, like where the tank shroud, the top of the tank would be on a gas bike. I don't know what it is, but I hope they keep it on the production model because it looks cool as hell, really. It's just crazy how clean and classy you can make one of these electric bikes look, because you don't have hoses and lines and wires and all kinds of stuff going every direction. You've got a battery and a motor. There is a small radiator that sits under the seat. There is a gearbox oil you change. It's a few hundred milliliters, I think. Moving on to talking about suspension, I want to say that I feel like it was a great move by Stark to include KYB. Me personally, I love the WP stuff, but there are so many people that are just KYB or nothing, then I think a lot of these bikes will sell solely because they have the KYB. Here's a shot of the linkage underneath. This was something else that was pointed out to me yesterday. This linkage actually sits really high. It doesn't sit near as low as on other bikes. I think the hard enduro guys will like this. They won't have quite as much hang up on logs and stuff like that. So excited to test that out. And you can see all the parts on this bike pretty much are CNC'd and polished up and look nice. Similar to a KTM. The individual parts look a lot more familiar to a KTM than to a Japanese bike, and I hope they keep it that way for production. Another thing to mention is I believe the wheels are KTM spec as well, which will be great. So there should be a lot of wheels and stuff available right off the bat. I would think sprockets should be the same. I would think, and these bikes also have Brembo brakes and Galfer rotors. So I'm thinking the brake pads should be the same. That's going to make it easier on the entire community right off the bat and easier on start. And I'm sure you guys have seen their cool chain tensioner setup right here that should just makes a lot more sense when you think about how this works, and should be a little quicker and easier to tighten up that chain. And we'll move up to the handlebars now. One thing we were thinking about yesterday is they're going to have to figure out something where you can utilize some ODI or MX lock-on grips, because that's a must. Who's gluing grips these days? I'm sure you guys know now as well that the display is just an Android phone that pops right out of the rubber case. I've been told that immediately these things should have several different ride modes programmed, and that eventually there could be upwards of 200 ride modes. So that's extremely exciting. I forget which model KYB calls this shock, but it's got the fancy looking triple adjuster with all three dials. They're the same size and different colors, looking blingy. I like it. And as you see on this close up here, the fit and finish on all this just looks great. Since the frame doesn't run, it doesn't have like a cradle frame that runs underneath. The battery makes up the bottom of the frame. There is a thick plastic skid plate underneath, and I kind of inspected this foam to see how cheap it felt, and I never felt a foam like this before. It was thick quality, and I've been told that they tested impacts with this to very heavy G-forces, so made me feel a little better. I also really liked how these caps were made. They had these ridges so you can thread them in and out with your hand, but then they also have the Torx, and they have the Torx spec right there printed on the cap, which is cool. It should be noted that everything on the bike is Torx, similar to a KTM, which is really handy. I also want to mention that these bikes do come with the charge stand, and they also come with the toolkit, which has every required tool to take apart the entire bike, which is pretty amazing. And then lastly, I'd just like to hit on that if you looked at this bike and you thought, man, that looks skinny, is it really that skinny? Let me tell you, yes, it is. It's probably the skinniest bike I've ever sat on, but it still felt comfortable. It didn't feel too skinny. If I had to say one thing about it, I'd say the seat was pretty hard. The seat didn't feel very comfortable, but it's a pre-production seat. Who knows what the production seat is going to feel like. So overall, I'm super excited about this. I don't want to put any dates down yet as far as when we could expect to ride one of these, but just stay tuned. I'll keep you posted when it happens. I'll be telling you what it feels like to me and giving you some reviews from an average Joe. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you all in the next video.